record, and I am super excited to actually talk about this Zoom, because I feel like this is the key to growing your business, period. Like growing your business is conversations, planting your seeds, harvesting those seeds, and watering those seeds until they become a crop. Okay. And so one of the things that me and Beck were talking about, because we met before we zoomed before we did this training, was the things that we notice when people are kind of maybe in their way, or their momentum's changed, or their accountability's changed. It's often because they're not having conversations. And it truly, that's what it comes down to, is the bread and butter in your business is found in what goes down in the DMs. And so if your DMs are not looking like you're having multiple conversations a day, it's probably where the biggest focal of where you need to be focused on. And so I want to talk about, Beck, did you want to answer questions first, or did you want to maybe do what we are talking about first? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, go ahead and let's do what we were talking about. I have the questions written down here, so we can do that at the end.
Okay. So the first thing that I always think when I think of the biggest things that are like, when it comes to conversations, and like, I hear a lot of times people will be like, well, no one's hopping in my inbox. Who has said that before? Can we raise our hand? I mean, I've never said that, and I'm not being cocky. I'm just being true. Like, I've never said like, people aren't hopping in my inbox. There's nothing wrong if you're saying that though. So please let me set that tone. There's nothing wrong if you're like, hey, people aren't hopping in my inbox. I'm not really having anyone like come to me or hop in my like DMs or anything of that nature. That is normal. First off, I need you to understand, business is not grown by people coming to you. Business is grown by the people that you're investing in and building relationships and building value into. Yep. First off. Okay. So even as a 200K leader, I do not have people flooding my inboxes every single day. What happens is I'm building genuine connections though every single day. And I am building those relationships with people that eventually, when their season, timing, whatever is right, they're like, what do you do? How do you do it? What are these products? I need to know more. I never look at people as a dollar sign. And I want you guys to I want you to really pay attention to that part, because how you see that little circle that hops in your inbox is what will determine the value, the confidence, the boldness, and the like belief that you transfer to them in that conversation. If you're looking at them as a paycheck, like a little dollar sign above their head, you're never going to have that connection with them genuinely. If you're looking at them as like team human, then guess what? You're going to build those conversations and those connections so much better. Okay. Because I always hear people like, I don't know how to carry a conversation. I don't know what to say to this person. I don't know how to say this or word this and this and that. And me and Beck can go back and forth on this because we do things very like similar. I mean, I taught Beck, but then Beck also ran with what works for her as well, because we all are different. Like if I were to talk to Beck and then I were to talk to Lydia, we would be like, there were two different conversations when they hopped in my inbox. Do you get what I'm saying? Like two different needs, two different conversations, two different like feel, felt, found, all those things. And so at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you have to also keep that in mind. Beck, do you have anything to piggyback off of that part?
You know, I think with conversations for me, it's one of two different type of conversations. Okay. It's either I am building that friendship and trust, right? Mm-hmm. So I am literally leaving my business out of it. I'm literally leaving products out of it because they have not asked me about it, right? So I am building a friendship. I'm finding out what they like, what they don't like. Do they have kids? You know, what did they do for the weekend?
Yeah.
You know, we're going back and forth and we're getting to know each other. Or there's the people that come to my inbox and they have been following me for a while, sometimes not even a while, but a lot of the times people come to my inbox because I'm consistent with what I do. And they've been following me for a while. And a lot of the times, you guys, they already know how to take the products because that's how consistent I am. A lot of the times they already know what they want because I've been that consistent. So it really, those are the two type of conversations that I have. And I think that you know, it's really like, it's really paying attention to what their need is, right? Are they needing the product? Are they needing friendship? Are they needing community? Because a lot of times, you guys, I'm having conversations with people that like they just need like a friend sometimes. But you know what? Some of those people that I built those relationships with and friendships are now my promoters.
Yes.
I can look at like at least three faces on here right now.
Mhm.
And it's I feel like we make it so much harder than it needs to be. You guys, it's literally talking to people.
Yep.
That's
And I
it.
think and I think that's the thing that I want to piggyback off of Beck on that is like there's no script for human. And so
Mm-mm.
you guys got to understand, yes, when people come to me or I'm going to them, and let me talk about what warm messaging, and that's what we're going to talk about is what warm messaging is versus a cold message. When I've never had a conversation with someone and they're either coming to my inbox or I'm going to their inbox because they either A, responded on a poll, because guess what? Opportunity stories are freaking insane for your business, period. Okay. If they've responded on a poll, if they responded on a question box, or I pay attention to who watches my stories. And this is where we're going to talk about 3-2-1s and the importance of them as well. But I keep it super simple. I never go into a conversation, you guys, being like, hey, babe, what are your like, what are you wanting to like take for your health and wellness goals? Like, what are you working on? Like, that's not how I start my conversations. I start with getting to know what their need is. Like, who are you? Tell me about yourself. Hi, hello, nice to meet you. I'm so excited to chat. I'm so excited to get to know you more. Tell me who you are. What's going on with your life? What made you hit that button to like reach out to me, or what makes you watch my story all the time? Okay, so I want you guys to underline that really quick. The first thing is boldness. Boldness. And it is not hard. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. Yes. Hello. But guess what? The more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature. Just like discipline. I posted something in the chat earlier. Laziness is a habit. Just like discipline's a habit. One doesn't feel good. One feels good. Some of you are watching TV right now and wanting to learn this, but not paying attention, you know? So this is where it comes down to discipline. Which are you? Okay. So when conversations are presenting themselves, I'm bold because I believe even before I had proof of what was working financially or success or any of that stuff. Okay. I had proof because success leaves clues. Okay. We have multiple $1 million leaders that come on here. We have all different types of leadership that come on here. And it doesn't even about the money. It's about the impact they've built on their community. Okay. The success leaves clues. And so you need to build stories upon that when you're going into those conversations, the boldness. You don't have to have a success story to be able to show that this works. Okay. Second thing is that 3-2-1. So the warm messages. Beck and me do this very simple. And Beck, you know how to we flow together. Just interrupt me when you want to talk. But what I want to stress and the importance of this is your stories. Your stories, your stories, your stories, your stories. And I'm not talking about just posting to your stories, because you cannot expect your business to grow if you're just posting to your stories. Okay. And if you're not posting every single day, at least once a day, that consistency, okay, because now I can write out a post for 24 hours, right? Because that consistency I've built where my audience knows no matter what, I'm showing up. My audience knows that I'm in my stories every single day. Sundays that I unplug for Sundays, that they are going to see my products in my stories first thing in the morning. They're going to see a different way of me seeing my products in my stories every morning. They know that they're going to see before and after, or the next day they're going to see maybe a opportunity story. They're also going to see my face and like what I'm going through and who I am as a person. It's not just Lavelle, because that will not build genuine connections either. So the first part of the stories is that your storefront. What does your stories look like? Why would anyone want to join with you? Are you showing consistency? Are you showing vulnerability? Are you showing who you are? Are you showing your Lavelle products? People need to know you have products in order to buy products. People need to know what you're doing in order to buy from you. People need to see consistency in what you're even. Some of you are scared to take a picture of your 3 steps and put it in your stories. Like, you need to show what you're doing.
I think, let me interrupt for a sec, Britt. I think that I think we have to go back to the drawing board on that. If you are taking your 3 steps every single morning and not posting it in your stories, you guys, why are you waking up taking your 3 steps? Do you not think that there's a mama on the other side of your screen that needs what you have? The same reason why you take your 3 steps. We have to become more bold about what we have, you guys. What we have saves lives. Saved mine.
Jinx.
So why are we so scared to share it? Because you don't want to seem salesy. You don't want to seem pushy.
Passion isn't pushy.
Passion isn't pushy. Stole my words. Exactly.
Like that makes me so wound up, because you guys, that secret sauce, that like confidence factor, that belief factor, that like transferable like energy, the feel, felt, found that we're talking about having a conversation, that will never happen unless you're being truly passionate about what you have your hands on. But you have to believe in what you're even doing this. If you're scared of rejection, girl, why? Mm-hmm. What are you, what rejection? What's the worst? And this is what I need you guys to start playing games with your head. And there's a point of reason why I'm saying this. Okay. What is the worst that's going to happen if you get rejected? They say no, not right now. Or I don't believe this works. And I'm going to flow into this. So this is why, because there's 5 stages of a conversation. Okay. So the first thing is warm messaging. And warm messaging is going out and doing your 3, 2, 1s. I'm constantly in my stories having engagement. I am constantly, and this is what I'll show you. I can even show you, like, if you go to my inbox, you will see nothing but stories, me engaging with people's stories. And do you want to know what that means? That means I'm in their inbox. Oh my God, I just took the scariest step out in the world for you guys. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, some of you are so scared to get in that inbox because you're thinking it's a cold message. If I'm not going into the conversation trying to sell someone or pitch someone or tell them, hey, girl, you're pretty, you should join my team, then guess what? It's not a freaking cold message. So get your little big girl panties on with that and stop being scared of that part, you guys.
And I want you guys really quickly. Yes. I want you guys to think about somebody who's started building a relationship with you. Okay, let's think about before you even did Lavelle. Okay, maybe they sold something, maybe they didn't. Did it feel icky to you that they replied to your story and told you that your baby's so cute? How old is it? Did it feel icky to you that they were like, oh my God, that picture in the background is so cute. Where did you get it? You guys, I literally, when I'm looking through stories, anything that gets my attention, I will respond to it. I was just telling Britt before we got on here, I have like 20 messages in my inbox right now because I did a power hour in stories. Okay. We make it way too hard. Be relatable, be a human. Same if we were talking to each other, right? On my stories, when you guys come to my stories and you respond to my stories, why can't you talk to somebody else like that?
I want to challenge you guys while Beck's talking really quick. Beck, you can finish, but while we're talking, I want you guys to do some homework while we're doing this together. So while we're talking, I want you to take your phone. If you're on your phone, I mean, obviously it will take the screen off and it will just be like a normal picture, but I want you to message 3 people, 4 people, 5 people in their stories while we're talking. Beck, you can finish.
I love that. And here's the other thing too about stories, you guys, and I've been doing this a lot in my own business as well. We only see so many stories, right? So you can't just like see all of your friends' stories. If you are seeing the same stories and you're interacting with the same people, it's time to go through your friends list. Yep. And I've been teaching some of my team this. I've literally, because I'm like maxed out on friends. There's no way that I see 5,000 people's stories, right? But I'm seeing the people that either most interact with me or I interact with them mostly. So start with A, you guys, start with A and go through your friends list.
And that's on Facebook, what she's referring to.
Facebook, yes. Start with A. And while you're doing this, you guys, you do your 3, 2, 1s. You're looking at the name Amanda. Go to her page. See if you relate to her. See if you can connect with her. See what her need is. Sometimes we can see what people's needs are right on their page because they're complaining of no energy, or they have 5 kids and they just can't seem to catch a break, right? Like, we need to be, I feel like sometimes we make it too hard again. Go through your friends list, go to their page, see if you relate to them, see if you connect with them. If you don't, bye. I do that a lot lately. I'm just kind of in a mode where I'm just like, okay, anything negative, anything that it doesn't feel right, like delete, block. Like, I'm just kind of over that. But start at A and write down your friends list. You guys go through there, do your 3, 2, 1s, go look at their story, go, go into their photos and see if, just check them out. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but when I'm clicking on someone's profile, whether it's through their stories or through my friends list, or because they viewed my stories, or they commented on something, or they liked something of mine, I'm not just like seeing it and doing nothing with it. I'm going to their page and I'm getting to know them before I even have a conversation with them, right?
Yep.
I already know that they have kids. I already know that they are single. I already know like little things about them because I'm doing my research, right? So, and that does one of two things.
Yep.
When I do start a conversation with them, they don't feel like a stranger, right? Because I've already done my research. I've already gotten to know them a little bit, right? Or it gives me something to talk about when I do start that conversation with them, because I've already done my part by going to their page and seeing what they're about.
So I want to piggyback off of that, because I think the biggest thing, okay, so now we've done the part where we're like, we got in their inbox, right? And I'm going to screen share a little bit, okay? So that you guys can kind of see what I'm referring to on certain parts. And just so you guys can kind of get an idea of how my conversations kind of go, okay? So hopefully everyone can see me. Give me 1 second. Can you guys see me for the most part?
I can see you, but not what's on your screen.
Okay, give me 1 second. Trust. Why is it not trusting me? It's not showing my screen still?
Not for me. I don't know if anybody else can see it or not.
No. I think when we were doing this earlier, it like screwed it up. Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. Because the biggest thing I want you guys to understand when having conversations, it's not about keeping that conversation going. I need you guys to rephrase how you're saying that, because I see a lot of people being like, well, okay, I don't know how to keep the conversation going. I don't know how else to talk, like what else to say. That tells me you're having a, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good.
Small talk. Dig
Okay.
deeper.
So when you find yourself in situations like that, I'll try screen sharing in a second again. You need to be bold. It goes right back to this. Okay. So anytime I am having, and that happens, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There is times where I have people that are kind of drier, and this is where you have to do one of two things. You have to go through their profile and see if they connect to you. Okay. And if they don't, unfollow. But if you like still connect to them and you're like, no, this is someone that I truly can connect to, often it's because it's that like one vulnerable spot missing. Okay. So what I do is I voice message. I say, babe, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like, I see we've been following each other. Tell me about you. Like, I want to get to know you. That's what I'm here for on this audience, is to impact others and also make connections. So tell me who you are, what you're going through, or it doesn't have to be like all verbiage like this. I'm just giving you guys prompts.
Ideas, yeah.
But like my biggest thing is I get to know them on that personal level, and I'm vulnerable in my voice message. Be like, hey, I saw that X, Y, and Z the other day. Tell me a little bit about that. That's interesting to me. I saw that you were like really focused on eating healthy. Why is that? Like, is it like me? I have thyroid issues. So like you're getting to know those like layers. You're peeling back like an onion. I always talk about like it's an onion. Okay. Onion has multiple layers of it, and you have to peel back those layers to get to the good, like the root of what's going on. So when you can start using feel, felt, found, this is where that boldness comes in. Why are you like, so for example, there's two types of conversations like me and Beck were saying. Like for us, you either have people coming to you or engaging on your stories or engaging on your polls, right? Or they're watching your stuff all the time. Okay. So for me, when people are watching my stuff all the time, but we've never had a message like to each other, I'm very bold. I'm not scared. And what I do is I say, hey babe, I see you watching my stuff all the time. I want to get to know you and tell me a little bit about yourself.
That's simple.
Okay. If people are coming to me wanting to know the business, perfect. I'd be happy to talk to you a little bit more about the business and answer your questions. First, I want to have you watch a video that explains a little bit more about the business side, more about the products. Once you're done, message me so we can chat on what stood out the most. I work smarter, not harder. Why do you think we have opportunity videos? Why do you think I have YouTubes that and if you don't have your own, make it. Like I have a YouTube that I send right away. And it's on my YouTube. So if you need it, it's on there. It says why Lavelle, or there's a few on there. It says Thrive, Lavelle. Like there's so many things. Make it. People need to see your voice. Why did you start? What are you working towards? What are the things about your business that you love? We get paid 12 different ways. Do you know that? 12. If you don't know your comp plan, go study it. Okay. If you want to know more about like the products and why we're so passionate about them, that's transferred through your stories and testimonies. So feel, felt, found. Okay. So Beck, when you have people come to you, like for me, like when people come to me and want already like know what I do and know like already like interested, they're ready to join, like all that. I'm going to show a conversation that I just had that she's starting on Wednesday. It's a potential promoter. It's a very vague conversation. I showed it to Beck earlier, but I want Beck to actually speak upon how she kind of delivers it in a little bit more deeper way when she's either like already knows what they're doing or they want to know more.
So I don't know, you guys, I kind of have a format for how I build a conversation, right? So if they're coming to me and they're like, okay, tell me about the 3 steps or tell me about the opportunity. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to voice message. You guys, I never, ever, unless I'm like super busy and can't do it. But for the most part, I always voicemail. Okay. And I'm going to ask them exactly what Britt and I were just saying. Like, tell me about you. Tell me what's going on. Are you a single mom? Do you stay home? What can I help you with? What are you struggling with? Is it depression, anxiety, weight management? Because they're coming to me already. They've been watching my stories because I've been consistent. They've been following me on my page because they're coming and they're asking me. So I'm going to find out their need. How can I help you? How can I help you solve a solution? I'm going to use pain points, right? I'm going to be relatable. When they tell me, girl, I have 3 kids. I work a part-time job and I just cannot find the energy to get everything done. I'm going to say, I can freaking relate to that. I've been there, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm really, really bold in my conversations. And I tell people, you need this.
Yep.
You need what I have. I went from where I was to where I'm at now. Yep. It's that feel, felt, found, right? We're hitting those pain points. We're talking to them about a solution. That's what they're coming to us for. They're coming to us for a solution to their problem, right?
We're problem solvers.
Exactly. And I really am. I was just telling Britt this, like, I have no problem telling somebody in a voicemail, girl, you need to give this 30 days. And I promise you, you will be thanking me later. Yep. I have no problem saying, I cannot wait to hear how your first day goes, girl. You are going to feel so good. Like literally with that energy too. Right? Because it's transferable. If we're scared, if we're not, you guys, and here's the thing too, I had a lot of crappy conversations before I got good at it. Yep, but if you're not even willing to have those bad conversations, how do you plan on getting good at them? Yeah. I've been doing this for 2 years now, so I've had some practice. And still, not every conversation goes exactly how I want it to go, right? And if someone doesn't respond to me, since I'm kind of on this topic, you guys, I go and love on their page. It's really that simple. It's like poking somebody, right? Like, hey, I still see you, still thinking about you. You're still on my mind. How are you?
I had people that ghosted me for 3 years that just joined this year. Like, I'm so like, you guys got to like understand ghosting's a part of the process.
It is.
Getting rejected is a part of the process. Having no's is a part of the process. It's all a part of the process.
That doesn't even mean that that's forever. Like Britt just said, you guys stop looking at no's and being left on red and having to follow up 10 times as a rejection or an objection evenly. But it doesn't necessarily, they will come back as long as you're consistent in your business and you're showing up for you. They're going to come back. I promise you. Start looking at those messages or at those people as not right now.
But the thing I want to say on that though, piggybacking off of what Beck's saying, because it's super important to hear this part as well. Just because they're saying no, or just because they're ghosting you, like Beck is saying, it doesn't mean it's a forever thing. 90% of the people that have told me no end up purchasing. Okay. Here's the thing. You're not following up with those ghosts and no's. Do you get that? It's not a no, and it's never a ghost. It's just that you're not poking the bear still. Takes 6 to 26 follow-ups before someone ever commits. Lydia was my customer for 2 years or a year, something like that. I'm not good. I'm a little fuzzy on that one. I would not harass her, but I would message her like every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks. So, you love the products, you're talking to your friends and family about it. What is stopping you? You're doing exactly what I'm doing already. Okay.
Let's talk about that for a second too. It just came to mind. So how Lydia was a customer, you guys, do you know that some of your customers right now are probably, if you are building that relationship with them, I don't just sign a customer and that's it, goodbye. I sign a customer and you're my friend for life.
Yep.
I'm not joking, you guys. Like I talk to my customers so much. I probably talk to at least 2 customers a day. Because they will become, if they're taking these products consistently and you're building that relationship and trust and you're showing up for your business consistently, they are going to become a promoter. They will, but they won't if you just sign them and say goodbye. Right?
It's so funny that you say that because I want you guys to understand the theme of this is team human. Like team human. Like I laughed when you said that because Leah, she joined me about 2 months ago, right? She was with the previous company. She messaged me because she had been watching me. Okay. But let's take it back a little bit. We had been following each other on Facebook a year and a half before that, or a year before that, something like that. I either unfollowed her or she unfollowed me. I don't know how it worked. We don't care. But she had cold messaged me. And I said, babe, there is such a better way out there. I am so sorry that you're being taught that way. If you ever want to chat, my inboxes are always open. That was the last conversation I've ever had with her. Because then we unfollowed each other or whatever. I really don't know. And then fate worked itself out to find each other over on Instagram. And a year and a half later, here she is, a 4K leader, earned a $4,000 bonus. So what I'm trying to instill in this part is no is never right now. You got to be bold, especially with cold messaging. You got to be you and you got to persevere. You have to show up for that. So piggybacking off of this is the other thing that you guys need to understand. So I sent the structure in the chat. Warm messaging is the first part. That's your 3, 2, 1. That's your engaging on stories. That's getting to know people. That's being kind of bold, starting that conversation. Okay. If it's not about the business or products, it's not a cold message. So get that out of your head. Okay. The next thing is understanding their needs, understanding what they're here for, like why they're on your profile. every single person on my timeline, I consider like a potential. I'm not going to pitch that potential. I'm not going to poach that potential. I'm going to nurture that relationship with that potential. And then when we finally have that connection, I'm going to use feel, felt, found. Okay, so what are your goals? What are you working on? What are you wanting to change? Cool. Now, how can I layer in that value? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm transferring that value. I'm transferring that connection. Next thing is overcoming objections. But before we go into overcoming objections, which I'm going to talk back, because actually I'm training on this in Florida. This is my topic, is overcoming objections, because it is my strong suit. And I need you guys to understand, the other thing is, if you do not have your potentials list, this is something me and Beck were talking about before we did this. How many of you guys have a potentials list? How many of you, drop a 1 in the comments if you have a potentials list? Okay. Love this. Love this. How many of you aren't consistent with your potentials list? And I'll be honest, drop a 2, because sometimes I'm not. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. How many have no idea, don't even have a potentials list at all? Drop a 3. I'm just putting 3 in there. I have one, but I'm just putting in there so you guys aren't alone. There's nothing wrong with this. I just need honesty and vulnerability in this. Okay. Okay. I'm telling you, this is your missing link. If you do not have a potentials list and you're wondering why you're not signing promoters, it's because you don't even know who to talk to, because you're not staying consistent with who you're talking to. Okay. Every single person that you talk to, every single person that has engaged on my polls, like even that has put like yes, and they're like, oh, I'm not right now, I'm okay. Or no, I didn't mean to. They meant to. 90% of the time they meant to. I write them down. Every single person that's hopped in my inbox about my products, I write them down. Every single person that has reached out about the business, or that I've talked to about the business, or that has talked to me about struggling with money or struggling with a health issue, I write down. Okay. And the reason, and you can do it 2 different ways. Me and Becca were talking about this, and Beck can talk about her style. I have never found a system that I really stick with that works for me. Every season, I need you guys to hear me on this. Every season requires a different version of me. So if this season for me is, hey, I need to do things electronically, then I need to do things electronically. If I'm in a season where a planner and a notebook work for me, then I'm going to use a planner and a notebook. And I want to put this back to you guys. This is why I have this out. I was showing Becca. This is all, these are people I have talked to the whole month of June, or the whole month of
July.
July. Was it July? I said July, right?
Mm-hmm.
Potentials list. Name. Potentials list. Potentials list. Potentials list. Enrollments. Potentials list. Do you see how many people I'm talking to? Okay. So if you want to get where you want to go, it starts in that conversation piece. What do you categorize as potential? Anyone that showed interest in my business or products at any point, anyone that has ever, and even prompts. So like prompts to me, and this is the part I'm going to talk about in the conversations when it comes to objections and things like that me and Beck will talk about. Prompts are like, I just can't afford that right now. Or I really want to do my health goals. I really need to work on my health. I want to lose weight, but I just don't know if I'm like ready to get disciplined or consistent. That is a prompt. That is, hey, they want to lose weight, but they're not willing to do the consistency. That's a potential still. Hey, I don't have time. I don't have money, all those. That's a potential still. Okay. And if you're finding yourself not signing promoters, I saw something in that. I'll just circle to that really quick. That is because you're probably not talking about the opportunity, going live about it, and showing it in your stories consistently. Okay. That we've trained on that quite a bit. So start there. But potentials list can be in any type of way. And Beck, while you're talking, I'm going to show my Google Keep thing that I showed you. And then you can talk about how
so I'm kind of same like Britt. Like for the longest time, I would keep it in a notebook, right? Anytime I would have a conversation with anybody, in basically just anybody in my inbox, you guys, whether we've talked about being a promoter, we talked about the business, we've talked about products, whatever. If you're in my inbox, you're a potential. That's how I look at it. So I go through different seasons too, where I'm writing everything down, or I have it right here in my phone. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I have a potential customer and potential promoter list. It's not as important